This is the reason why many people die in spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening isn't a blissful experience. It's a transformative process that feels like a death. Most people aren't ready to let go of their old selves. We often imagine spiritual awakening as a moment of clarity and peace, but that's a fantasy. In reality, it shatters your identity and rips apart your sense of serenity. It's the end of who you thought you were. There are several reasons why people don't survive this process. They retreat, numb out, or run back to the familiar lies because waking up hurts more than staying asleep. But if you want truth over comfort, you must be willing to let go of your old identity. Your old self must die completely, unapologetically, and carry the weight of who you used to be into the light of a new consciousness. The version of you shaped by survival, trauma, and societal conditioning, fear, and ego isn't equipped to walk the path of spiritual truth. That identity was built to protect you, not free you. It learned to please others, perform, and hide your true essence behind roles and masks. But the soul can't awaken while buried beneath those illusions. Awakening demands a death, not a physical death, but an egoic death. The mind resists, fights, and clings to its persona because it only knows how to exist as that persona. It will tell you that letting go means losing everything, and it's right. You lose everything that wasn't truly yours. But that's the point. You'll feel like you're unraveling, you're insane, and losing your sense of identity. That's the moment of true initiation into who you truly are. Your old identity must die, and it must happen if you are to be reborn into what's real. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly by stretching its wings inside its old shell. It dissolves, becomes unrecognizable, and emerges anew. There's no spiritual awakening without this destruction. If you're willing to let the old self burn, to let the identity collapse without rescuing it, you rise not as a version of your past, but as something unnameable, untouchable, and free. You don't find yourself by clinging to who you were. You find yourself by burying that version and listening to the silence that remains. That silence is where your true self has been waiting all along. Comfort becomes your enemy when it lures you back into the routines. Relationships and patterns do no longer serve you at this point, so do not go back to them. The soul doesn't evolve in comfortable situations. It doesn't evolve when it's predictable and when it keeps getting back to comfortable and predictable circumstances. It awakens in a furnace of discomfort, where everything stable becomes or begins to tremble and everything familiar begins to fall apart. Growth happens in the wild terrain beyond comfort zones, in the chaos where certainty collapses and illusions get exposed. Spiritual awakening begins the moment you stop asking how to stay comfortable and start asking what the discomfort is trying to teach you. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you say no to your own becoming. But when you lean into the burn, when you stop running from the discomfort, you find your true self waiting in silence. People are afraid to lose people, to lose their loved ones during awakening. That's why most of them end up dying. You're going to lose people, and that's the part of it. When you shift internally and your awareness deepens, your values begin to align with your soul rather than your conditioning. Your external world cannot stay the same. Relationships built on your old identity start to crack. It's not about loving those people less, but about love built on illusions, not being able to withstand truth. Friends may feel like strangers, and family members may look at you with confusion, judgment, and rejection. They'll say you changed, and they are right. You're no longer willing to dim your light to be accepted, or lie to yourself to keep the peace. This is not a sign of failure, but a sign of authenticity. You're becoming real, And the more real you become, the more you feel friction between your truth and the identities others want you to maintain. Some people were never in love with you. They were in love with your compliance, agreeableness, and predictability. When you walk your own path, you stop being convenient to those who preferred your silence, small or easy to manage. But this loss is secret. It clears space for soul alignment, connections, and relationships that honor your truth rather than suppress it. It teaches you to stand alone, trust your inner compass, and remember that awakening is not about gathering approval, but shedding everything that's not real. The real ones will find you. This is where people begin to think that their life is all messed up. Just know that the real ones will find you. The real ones will find you in the light. You will mourn and question yourself, but in time, you'll see that losing people was not a strategy. It was a clearing. You weren't abandoned. You were unhooked and redirected. Notice that there's going to be no map. During awakening, there's no map. Some people tend to get frustrated and die in the process because of this, or not survive it. One of the most disorienting truths about spiritual awakening is that there is no map, no step-by-step guide, and no guaranteed destination. The mind craves certainty, but awakening doesn't work like that. It's a messy, non-linear, and deeply personal journey. The path is not a straight line. It's a spiral that often takes you deeper before it lifts you higher. You may revisit the same emotional wounds again and again, not because you are stuck, but because each time you are peeling back another layer, facing the pain with more presence, awareness, and courage is necessary. The absence of a map isn't a flaw in the journey. It's the very thing that makes the journey secret. It requires trust in the unknown, faith in the unfolding, and willingness to walk blind while feeling everything. This is not all. There is more. Follow me to discover more about yourself in manifestation. I am the potentialist.